Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Gray Man Prepping. It is time for Survival Saturday, and tonight's topic, sticking with the after the event, after Florida sinks into the sea, what are your plans now? And warning, possible fantasy fair porn Kool-Aid drinking zone ahead. Then again, maybe not. And how's everybody doing out there? Let's pop up here and hit the comments and make sure got everybody. So first one in was Tammy at Rebel Canners, and then Phelan Clan Wolf, and Prep for the Ages, or Prepper for the Ages, Kaylin Strain, Moon over Miami, Diana 2, and everyone's chit-chatting. Okay, so when this one was, was this one suggested or not? I know a bunch of you sent in some suggestions on them, and I filled them in. This one has some good scientific roots in reality. And Frenchie Sandy's here. Oh, and My Views, Your World came in too. All righty. So with this one, we're going to look at the different possibilities and why possibilities are scientifically. And then we're going to look at what a couple other channels have said about, which has nothing to do in science at all, but we're going to look at those and laugh. So let's go ahead and move forward here and go this one here. All right, so I forgot to change that slide. Okay, it's supposed to say, I just reused the same thing, just changed the key things on it. So it's not nuclear power plant. That was last week. It's Florida falling into the sea. All righty, so man-made on purpose. Not really a possibility unless someone decides to drop a whole bunch of nukes on some key points, which we will show those key points later on because those are Mother Nature, actually. Mistake, man-made mistake, not really a thing. So Mother Nature caused, yes, absolutely. And so let's skip ahead here. I'm going to skip ahead from mitigation. There's nothing really can mitigate against it unless you live in Florida. There are some steps you can take, not to stop it, but to survive it. And who was it? Was it Glenn? Or was it Geeky Gardens? Someone mentioned about, oh yeah, get my make sure my Zodiac boat's ready to go when it starts sliding. So, and Holly's here too. Daniel's Berry Sports Highlight is here as well. So recovery, there's not much of a recovery. Mitigation, other mitigation is, at first signs of it, you can move out of the state, get out of there, and head to someplace a little bit farther north. But once it slides into the ocean, there ain't much recovering on that. So let's look at some stuff. We're going to look at the pseudoscience thing, talking about rising sea level. And the coloring here has to do with the different elevations of, which is kind of interesting because over the last 10 years, the Arctic ice in Antarctica has increased dramatically deep inland. On the northern side of Canada, the ice is built up. In Greenland, there's a little bit more ice in Greenland too, which means there's less water hitting the sea. So in some places they've measured the sea levels have actually dropped a little bit. But So if say the water was to rise up, the tip down here, the southern tip, the dark red color is less than a meter or 3.3 feet, and it'll intrude into certain on the east side here into certain lakes and stuff and rivers. The orange down here near the bottom and a couple spots along the side here is 1 to 2 meters. The yellow is an area that would be flooded if it rose 2 to 3 meters, and the green is areas that would flood if it raised from 3 to 5 meters or 10 feet to 16 feet. Considering that the highest point in Florida is 326 feet. All right. So that's what someone said, oh, yeah, it's going to go in the sea, but it's actually the sea coming over it. And I know I can see Shady Hill Homestead. How's it going? I can see where some of these people are thinking that's going to happen when we get to one of the other slides here. A little bit more scientific explanation than just pseudoscience saying, yeah, the waters are rising when all the actual science says no, the water's not rising. Okay, so this is bearing still on the same thing of sea level rise up to 100 meters or just about 300 feet. But wait a minute, the highest point on Florida is only 326 feet. Yeah. Anyways, you can see the outline down here of where the areas of Florida are would be flooding. Now, if you look out in the ocean here, the lighter color along the coast here, this bigger area was there. The scientists were saying, about 100 to 150 million years ago, that was above water. Well, 150 million years ago, we supposedly were in a snowball ice age. So if all that ice and stuff is building up on the land, yeah, the water level is going to drop down. All right, but the other things that more sustainable things are being spotted throughout Florida are sinkholes, where the soil is eroding away down below, and water intrusion is causing more sinkholes to form, and parts of it are sinking down pretty fast. This is where it gets interesting. Now I'm gonna go back and forth between this slide and some other slides. Let alone prepper, how you doing? And so you see the points where these earthquakes were, and it lists the year of the earthquakes after them and stuff, or beneath them. So what's interesting about these, they match up with something people were saying don't exist. Mark says learn to swim. Well, Mark, Phelan Clan Wolf back up here near the top said, how long can you tread water? All right. So basically, they said there's no faults. I mean, literally, AI, if you check AI, said there are no faults in Florida. Yeah, that's not what the USGS says. Come on, let's go. Okay, so there are some fault lines along the outside. There are some other possible boundaries coming through. And who's texting me? And to Georgia, this brownish area up there, that's part of I forget we'll see it more in a slide coming up here, what it's called. but there's also going up farther in the Georgia above it than this blue line up here is the Gulf Trough. So the Georgia Channel Seaway Complex and the failed Rift Meridian or margin, that's that area that was covered in this area up here. And that is actually expanding. And that means that the Florida is moving in a south by southeast direction. You got a rift over here, or it's basically a fault line, but they can't positively say it's a fault line, so they call it a rift. But we talked about a couple weeks back about the East Africa rift, where it's splitting apart. And then they got a complex rift on this side here. Then you have the collision margin down here around Cuba, where the area here, part of the Blake Plateau plate is hitting Cuba. And so yeah, there are things in action here scientifically, which everyone's, oh, no, no, no. And USGS says, yeah, it's a possibility. Actually, let me go back to. So you see where this the passive rift margin on the east side and the complex rift on the west side, and then the Georgia Channel Seaway Complex. Let's go back up to. Oh, so the 7.0 is on the eastern side of that Georgia complex. The 4.8 over here is on the west side of it. The collision down here is down by Cuba. You can see where those are. And then the one rift on the east side is at 4.0, and the one on the west side is the 5.9. See, boom, boom. Now here's showing you it is pushing down by these red arrows. And as it pushes down, they're talking about, it's very hard to see on this map, but at the very bottom here, the shelf transport is splitting before it gets to all the way to Cuba. So stuff, the plate is splitting there. And it's also called, the down below here says the downslope, a long slope transit, which is moving south and east. So scientifically speaking, Florida's moving, and it's going to go down. Time frame, they're saying about 150 to 200 million years unless something speeds it up. So basically, what's going to wind up happening is, from most of the data, this area is going to get underwater. The upper portion here, where the Georgia, whatever heck transition there, is going to push down. So parts of it is going to get pushed up and not go underwater here, but above it, going up into from Pensacola up into hang on, let me go back up here and look at it. Where's that? Come on, where's, you can't find the one that has the cities on it here. Oh, Savannah, up to Savannah. That's going to open up, push down, and may have like a waterway through there. But the northern part here is going to lift a little bit, while the southern portion is going to drop. So, should I got everything, covered everything on that? That's what science says. Yeah. So what are your guys' thoughts? What do you guys think? And let me go ahead and drop a link in here for those that like participating up here. All right. So I think all areas around our sinkhole is going to break apart into a lot of small islands. That was one of the consensuses of the part. The seaway portion up here, that it's going to break as it separates and breaks apart. You're going to have a whole bunch of islands up there. Major shipping will have a problem getting through, but any other type of water, smaller, big yachts and stuff like that would make it through.
Oh, sorry, I forgot my fat guy still on the screen.
Hey, it's perfect for the sofa survivalist.
Great. I have a flotation sofa. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely changing, even from the people I talked to down there. Glenn, How to Garden, and Jack, Geeky Gardens. Things are always changing down there in Florida. But as you can see, as the colors changes and interesting things going off. What I forgot to mention, this one down here, you see the square on the right here. It says end of longshore transit system. That's where everything south of that is definitely supposed to be going underwater. From there up to the next set of asterisk lines up there is what may remain above water. And in Georgia, that area in there is going to be a seaway connecting the Gulf of America to the Atlantic Ocean without having to go around Florida. At first, when I started looking at this, it's like, okay, yeah, all right, we're going to see it. And the more I looked into it scientifically and made a few calls over to Palo Alto in California to the USGS office over there, it's like I got the hims and haws. Well, we don't want to say it's going, but it looks like there is some movement in that direction. And they said, and the one guy I was talking to said, yeah, about 200 to 250 million years before you take a rowboat across through that area, through the what was the panhandle of Florida and into Georgia and come out by Savannah.
Hey, you never know. A volcano might erupt and create new land in between it and just make Florida bigger.
Yeah. But interesting on that portion, I didn't put up a thing on that. That's down in Cuba and on off towards the other not Mediterranean, the Caribbean islands, because those have volcanoes on them. But you never can tell what's going to happen. A shift of the tectonic plates. Something it's gonna be just hanging on there, just slowly moving, and something may just snap, and all of a sudden you get a big movement like is happening over in Africa. Note the feature
so by
Florida
you mean that Florida is actually floating on water? So as soon as an earthquake happens,
no, it's basically if something it's moving. So north up here, south down here. It's moving and it's dragging. And so if something gives way and it goes whoop, yeah, you can have a sudden, there's they're calling this Suwannee Seaway. It may go.
So how deep will it go? 5 feet, 10 feet, 1,000 feet, disappear?
Not 1,000. They were talking about like major shipping won't be able to go through there for quite a while after it does go, but you can take small motorcraft that you haul on a trailer. You could make it through there. And like it depends. If it goes and things drop fast enough there, and it just drops because of the one part moves, it could drop and get more water than what they are guesstimating right now. Okay, note a feature in Florida called Lake Wales Ridge. I'm looking. Lake Wales Ridge. Don't see it there. Tampa, Aurora. Lake Okeechobee. Okay, I don't see that mentioned on anything else here. But yeah. Oh, the other thing here, up here, hang on, let me put it back up here. Up here, the Fluvial Transit low stands, a little blue line there. So that part of the state is breaking off into the Gulf and pushing out. Levels of where it goes down in elevation and underwater, just like it does on land. So you get to the dark blue, which where it drops off. But it's interesting that some of this could happen. You have devastating effects sooner if it slips just a little bit without the oceans rising. It could drop 50 feet, 25 feet, a 25-foot drop for most of Florida. Just a 25-foot drop or settling, not just a bang, but just over a couple of years, just going bleh.
I'd be more worried about the Mid-Atlantic ridge heaving up all at once, even 20 feet, and all coasts on the Atlantic Ocean would be flooded pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean that would be I'm trying to think of the word. Basically, the opposite of what it's doing, because the ridge is actually separating. Well, I guess it could. So as it separates, there is stuff coming up in the middle. So yeah, as it separates, also you get a fill in the middle to help push it apart. Yeah, that would cause definitely trouble all around the Atlantic. But there's the whole this talking about fault lines and plates is we're still guessing at what they're going to do. We're trying to piece together the history of what they have done and figuring things out. And so, they have detected movement of Florida going south, just like they know the on the west side of San Andreas is moving north, and up farther it's moving past Crescent City. The coastline is moving north and subducting under the continental plate. So yeah, but things always change. No one thought Africa was going to get a fault line splitting it. Yet here we have it's happening. Pythons can swim; it won't kill them, but the great whites might.
Yeah.
Oh, there, I just see Jay's comment. Sharks might eat them. Yeah. I'm just reading some of the other comments here.
I guess born and raised in Florida, won't go back.
Yeah. There are some people that, there are things that just they know about and just, don't want to sound like a conspiracy nut, so they don't talk about it. Things they see, like here, when we bought the place 9 years ago across the street, we could see where the sun was setting and stuff. And a couple of years ago, I was talking with a guy, the previous city maintenance guy, and he goes, yeah, in the last 10 years, I've seen stuff do this and that, and it used to set there. Now the sun's setting up over here in the winter versus summer. But then again, the Earth is on an axis, and it's wobbling on the axis.
Yeah, but I don't feel it.
We wouldn't, because it takes a year or two for it to do a little partial wobble. So the consensus is, Sandy, that it is sinking, although some people say, oh, no, the ocean's rising, but all the measurements elsewhere in the world say, on average, says no, ocean level is either maintaining or setting a little bit. And the problem with the ocean measurements, depending when they took the measurements, how many measurements they took over a time frame to get an average at that year, come up with different elevations and stuff, and things aren't always matching up.
Like they do with the temperatures. They do the average temperature from 1970 to present. Oh my God, it's getting hotter, but they don't consider the temperatures going back to the 1700s, in which case now we're not really changing at all.
Or especially if you go back to the 1300s when it was warmer than it is now.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
And the CO2 levels were at 1,400 parts per million, and plants thrived. And now we're down to 1,400 and 400. Goes below that, plants die. Oops.
Yep. So yeah, it is moving. They know it's moving south. They know off the south tip that the shelf is splitting and descending and going away. And so, but it's moving so slow. It's like, oh, it moved, an eighth of an inch this year.
Oh boy.
Oh, it moved a half inch this year. Oh, wait a minute.
Maybe it's sinking because of all the illegals we threw down in Alligator, Alcatraz. We got so many down there, it's now overloaded. Like that one senator said that we put too many bases on freaking Guam, it's going to flip over. Yes, he did say that. I've given you the details on that one. There are people that believe that. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
tipping. All right. Hey, Mark,
but
let's look at that in a scientific thought here with Florida. Florida has no Portland cement in the state naturally. It doesn't have gravel in the state naturally.
Okay.
Or it does very little.
Okay.
All that concrete stuff being built up in Miami, the highways, is all imported from out of state.
So it just overweighed the freaking that piece of land. And it's, if anything, I'd be more worried about a long-term tremor and liquefaction and building sinking, not the state. Buildings just going blah, 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 down a foot or two. And then falling over.
Yeah, but with all the I'm gonna bring this back up here. With all the where's the other one? Here it comes. The sinkholes that are showing up. And then you add all the extra weight on top, and the water's
so when water finds a path way underground and finds a way out of where it is and drains to the ocean, it creates sinkholes.
Yeah.
Either they're long and narrow or all of a sudden a big area and it collapses. So that's natural.
Yes.
It's not because we built a building on it.
No. I know. But I'm saying, I was just saying, thinking here, not claiming it to be true. You got sinkholes forming. You got other areas with buildings on it, putting extra weight on it.
Yeah, but how deep is the bedrock in Florida?
What bedrock?
Oh, so there's no bedrock, so it's sand all the way down to the mantle of the earth where it's liquid.
I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Let me do a little quick quiz here.
Good question.
And
that's where they drill down to and put their pilings. They don't just put pilings in sand and call it a day. They never
actually some places they put it down as far as they go. Oh, we're not hitting anything, so we got enough resistance, so we'll stop.
Sure.
There are some places they've done that too. And up in San Francisco Bay, it's called Bay Mud is in the area. We went down for the piles for the new toll plaza on the Oakland side. They went down 150 feet and did not hit bedrock. They were still hitting Bay Mud, but they had enough resistance. They said, okay, we're good. Just full of concrete. And yeah,
I don't think they built the Golden Gate Bridge like that, but that's another story.
The Golden Gate is on bedrock on the either side there, but the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge the bay is all full of what's called Bay Mud silt. This is some nasty, stinky stuff when we dig it up. How deep is the bed? So, all right. It says, oh, in South Florida bedrock, porous limestone depths vary dramatically from right at the surface, a few inches to a few feet, and in areas like the Keys, to hundreds and even thousands of feet deep.
Down in the Keys.
Well, down towards the Keys.
Yeah, that's because that's all coral reef and stuff that's filled in and collapsed over the millennia. And
okay, the main Florida aquifer system reaching 1,000 to 3,000 feet deep in the far south of Florida, on land still. All sitting on older basement rock that is thousands of feet deeper still. It is often just a thin layer of Miami limestone or Key Largo limestone below the soil and sand that you have to dig down significantly to reach deeper major aquifers. It's like a lasagna that's not stacked right.
Oh, so I didn't make it. Gotcha.
Exactly. You didn't make it. So you have areas where it's close to the surface, other areas where it drops off and it's layered. And so there's some sounds like South Florida has some really screwed up bedrock layers. Oh, it's here. Over here, 5 miles away, it's up here. Oh, wait a minute, over farther, it's down, and so.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm more worried about liquefaction at this point. Nice shaking and
and between
water
between those
really quick, turns it to quicksand, and boop, down you go.
And between those, like the Key Largo and the Miami limestone shelves,
right?
You got aquifers and sand. That, like I said, earthquake could cause the upper sandstone shelves to. But hey, look what they did over there in Dubai, where they took all the sand and they built islands.
Oh yeah.
Well,
and then they didn't just dump sand; they dumped lots and lots and lots of rocks all the way down to the bay floor.
Yeah,
and then just loaded it with sand on top. There's still those giant rocks they dumped there are only 6 feet under the surface, but they could settle. But they're not in an earthquake zone, so they're not really worried about it.
Oh, they are. It's just that it's not doing anything right now.
Yeah, well,
it's like don't worry about it. When was the last time lava came out of Yellowstone? 75,000 years ago.
Yep, but it's going to happen tomorrow. Run!
No, tomorrow. Wait a minute, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. It can't happen till Tuesday, so I can sell all my stock.
Yeah. I'll be back in a second. I got to run inside a second.
Okay, Took says. Oh, hang on. I gotta go up here one on that. All right, everyone's saying it. Yeah. Okay, I gotta go back up farther. Limestone filters water, which means water's going through it. And as water goes through the limestone, it erodes a little bit inside. The condo in Florida that collapsed, not just shoddy construction, probably more. So a lot of people, even those that live there, say, they should not be building 2-story and big heavy houses and stuff because the problems they're running into. And this one I think is funny. That's why Florida has a lot of trailer parks. They will not sink. No, but they will fly if a tornado comes by. Yeah, the condo tower collapse was a combination of poor construction, poor location, and deferred maintenance. And that's if they had been up on their maintenance, they would have seen stuff coming and have been able to work and rectify it. But being that they put it in a poor location where they didn't, and they probably didn't go down deep enough with their pilings to strengthen it, there's a problem. Now, a lot of the pilings they're putting in aren't straight down. If they're putting pilings in for a building, they're going at an angle away from it. That way you have these pieces going out at an angle that is, if it tries to settle, it's pushing pressure on the sides, and it's pushing the pilings were being pushed on and they're pushing back to push stuff back to the middle to help support it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, there's as a kid, I used to love going down to Florida to Disney World. I loved it. Now, as much as I hate being on the ocean, you want me to go down to Florida now? You're going to have to get me a nice big yacht for me to be on offshore. But yeah, so that's the things with that is, Florida has a chance of sinking.
Sorry, I'm just reading Holly's. That's why Florida has lots of trailer parks. They won't sink. Yeah, that's fine. And if you think something's coming, just strap a bunch of 55-gallon drums to the side of it, and you'll have a houseboat.
No, not to the side, underneath.
Or underneath. Well, you got to keep the balance. If you go straight underneath, you'll be top heavy.
No, so you go solid underneath, and then go out and put the porch on 55-gallon barrels too. Yeah, that'll give you your balance.
Yeah.
Hey, redneck engineering.
Hey, it'll probably work.
Yeah, but there's so many things when you read about the local geology, and you're like, don't they know that? Aren't they making this known to everybody? Because you hear about some areas that are bad, and the developers are coming in and trying to build big shit there anyways, pardon my French. And it's like, why? It's not safe. And then, of course, yes, it's going to take a couple thousand years, but the west side of San Andreas is going up north, and it's going to block off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, I'm not worried about a traffic jam for that one next week.
Yeah, which will then mean that there will be a huge freshwater lake in the Central Valley in a couple thousand years. Again, yes, exactly. Again, until it finds a way through, it breaks out, and all drains back.
There's some really old maps of California. It's a freaking island. And then it's not an island. Then it's there's like a huge lake is bigger than Lake Superior times 3 in between that and Nevada and Arizona and it's landlocked. And then all of a sudden, bloop, it's gone. It drained or something. Probably heaved up and underneath the ground and forced all that water out into the ocean.
Well, there is a fault near the Golden Gate Bridge. And all it would take is one earthquake, slip, sideways slip. And all of a sudden I have water, just a little water, a little more water, a little more water, a little more, and just suddenly it starts eating it away.
You ever watch those videos of you have on the beaches after a storm, you got this 3 million gallon pond of seawater with the sand hole, and they get a video camera and they go in, they cut a little tiny slit and start to drain it, and within 20 minutes, it's raging rapids that kids are running their inner tubes down back to the ocean, and then it's gone. Yeah.
Yep. So, things can happen really fast or really slow. When it comes to Florida, we don't know what's going to happen, other than the fact that it is moving south, and that there are areas offshore that has dead trees and stuff, so it was above water level at one time. But
I got a sinkhole forming in my neighbor's yard right now, slowly. When they built our development, some of the neighbors that still live here were here during the construction. They literally, any trees and stuff they cut down, they buried them in piles. And now it's rotting away and sinking.
yeah,
And yeah, I'm waiting for my power line to go out because my power line's just strung right underground there where the sinkhole is going through the neighbor's yard. Yep. And they'll hit me for it. It's like, nope, not my fault. It's the neighbor's fault. Tell him to call the insurance company. Sorry, you guys did that underground. And oh, wait a minute. Let's go back at the company that did it. That's right. They're out of business now.
They everything.
But man, we're done. We're done in 2 years. This whole neighborhood was built in 2 years. I got a minivan in my backyard under my back left corner garden. Neighbor came out there. I'm out there with a cultivator trying to dig down. He just comes out laughing. I was like, "What are you laughing at?" He's like, "Don't bother." He's like, "There's literally a boulder the size of a minivan buried there." He's like, "They dug a hole and threw it in. They didn't know what to do with it, so they buried it." He's like, "It's literally 8 inches below your soil level." I was like, "All right," so I put raised beds in.
Yeah. It's like Tuke said here is that one area got flooded because there was a new construction nearby that diverted the rainwater.
Yeah, poor planning.
And then there's along the California coast, there's several ones, especially down by San Pedro. That's a big one where they did construction, built stuff, and they had their the big storm drains and stuff, and the storm drains cracked, and they said, "Oh, we're not worried about it." Well, the water going through the storm drains in the wintertime is eating down into the soil and creating a aquifer there, and its whole thing's kind of sliding into the ocean there. Let's see here. Glenn, how's it going? After Florida sinks into the sea, I will float to Georgia.
That's my plan if I'm down there, but I don't plan on being in Florida anytime soon.
And here's the thing is, we the stuff that is man-made fill and stuff seems to react quicker than stuff that was flood-filled and flash flood-filled years and years ago, but it's still stuff is getting water intrusion in different places. Things are falling apart. Yeah.
Oops.
Hey, so, dude, there's this amazing thing called a snowblower, and they have they even have little snowplows that fit on your riding lawnmowers. And some of the riding lawnmowers, the older ones, actually had a PTO up to the front where you could put the snowblower on your lawnmower and drive around on your lawnmower blowing the snow away.
Yeah, I think I like it when the neighbors look out their window and see Mark walking around with a backpack leaf blower with 4 inches of powder on the ground, and I'm just creating my own snowstorm, but I'm clearing the sidewalks off because I'm too lazy to shovel. It worked. All I hear is woo out in the street for like 4 hours, and I'm just blowing the sidewalk. I cleared off the grass. I cleared off all kinds of fun. It looked great. Looked like it didn't even snow on our property. Yeah, what is snow? Shut up.
Snow. Oh, man, let's see here. And Jack's in the house. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Sinking. Selling quick at a discounted rate.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is some of the swamps were probably sinkholes millions of years ago, and they grew up, and the whole area just kept settling. Oh, we're just going to fill it in with dirt. and they don't even think what the underlying cause is between the different layers of the sand of the limestone.
Yep.
And
that's why there's no basements in Florida.
Yeah. So, the possibility, it's a strong possibility that southern Florida will go, and there's and science is saying there's a greater than zero chance that northern Florida and Georgia there is separating, and it's going to be a seaway in whenever it happens. That is going to be longer because southern Georgia is a little bit more stable rock, foundation and stuff there.
Yeah, think of the toxic pollution going into the water when that happens.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Everything from all the gas
not going to happen in my grandkids' lifetime.
No, everything from gas stations to Home Depot with all their chemical aisles and that just, yeah. It'll be a
table. It'll be water table 3 feet below ground. Oh, yeah. So it's not such a fear porn fantasy about Florida. It's just a time frame.
Yeah, one good shaking shallow earthquake next week could literally liquefy a huge portion of Florida, and they're like, "Oh, it's climate change." Yeah, but guess what? The climate just changed because of an earthquake. Okay.
Yeah. Holly, no, I don't think the New Madrid fault would have something to do with Florida falling.
They're all connected through the North American craton, which it's a different thing to look up.
Yeah. But there is a connection with the Mississippi fault line, which is basically deep under the Mississippi River, and one of the theories from USGS, which they don't like to officially talk about, is that it's widening at like a 1/16 of an inch a decade.
Oh, okay. So that is not actually, and this is where I always get upset when people say it's a theory. No, it's a hypothesis. A theory is a proven fact with strings of data that can be repeated by other scientists.
Yeah.
A hypothesis is a educated guess. So there's a lot of hypotheses floating around out there, not theories.
But so there is a fault line under the Mississippi in segments. They have found spotted segments of it. They just got to connect the dots, and they're kind of like, we hardly ever get any earthquakes here except for New Madrid, and so we'll just, they're not putting much into it like they do for California and the west coast of Oregon, Washington, and on up into Alaska. But that's a whole nother headache there in the Mississippi Valley. Oh, yeah. All right. Coming up here, before I forget, Monday on Camp Patton Family Compound, the topic is preserving sale meats. Basically, meat that you go into stores like, holy crap, they got this big old piece of meat here for $2 a pound. Yeah. So how you get it, and I don't have any freezer space. I don't have. What do I do with it now? And that's what we're going to be talking about on Monday.
Yeah. I'm sharing a picture of the North American craton and the deformed and all that stuff. Can you see it?
Yeah, I'm trying to click on it. Come on. Oh, hang on here. Move that one. Add that one. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look, it says that is the continental crust has remained relatively stable for the past 600 million years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and you can see, I mean, the earthquakes always run down the line, going around it, and then up the Appalachians, up into Canada. That's where you don't get many earthquakes in the middle of the country there, up north in Minnesota and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, just down around.
Yeah, Texas, Missouri, and that's where the
No, up about where it says years. Where New Madrid was.
Yeah, that's what it kind of kicks up there where it says Missouri. Those three red dots there in Missouri.
Yeah.
So
everything has a little bit of fractures in it, but yeah. All right. So Monday is preserving sale meats. Tuesday is what 10 preps help you sleep at night?
A pillow, a blanket, a mattress. Wait, there's at least 10 things that are right touching me. Sheet, upper sheet, lower sheet. Yeah, anyway.
Anyways.
I have a pile of food in the basement.
Yeah. There you go. Pile of food in the basement. Thursday is the midnight ride. Next Friday is making fire, or Friday night on the homestead. And next Saturday here is after the Long Valley caldera erupts. What are your plans? And if anybody hasn't heard of the Long Valley caldera, it's bigger and badder than Yellowstone ever was. And it's in Death Valley.
AKA why they call it Death Valley.
Yeah, it's on the northwest edge of Death Valley. But yeah. There is a failed rift system in Minnesota that has very deep lava. Yeah. There's also a very deep rift system in Minnesota between the right and the left.
Well,
that's another story.
There's a shallow rift system running up the Appalachian mountain range, so there is that.
Yeah. A little super volcano event never hurt anybody.
It's just a small one. You're fine.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming in. Hope you got something out of it. Hope you enjoyed it one way or another. And hope you learned something and piqued your interest in finding out what the geology is around your place as well. And here he is. You want to start a daycare? No.
What are you saying?
I have a daycare Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, but you don't get the federal funding you deserve. Come on, think about it. You could be a millionaire driving a Mercedes right now if you would just say that you housed 100 kids. Even though you only have 3.
4. Let's see. If I do that right, I can buy the house down the street here, which has 2 kitchens in it.
You can probably buy the whole freaking. You can buy the whole.
I can buy the 45 acres over here. Yeah.
And a bigger tractor.
I can start a daycare.
And a bigger tractor. 2 bigger tractors. And a bobcat.
No. I want to get the JBC track loader that you can put either rippers on the back, or you can put the backhoe attachment on it, or
yeah, and the giant mulcher blade on the front. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Open a learning center.
Yeah, a leering center, not a learning center, a leering. See, Tuck knows how to spell
learning center. Oh, leering center. Kaylin's inviting Glenn up to Iowa. All right, everyone. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thanks for coming in. And remember, stay happy no matter what life throws at you, including the ground dropping out beneath your feet. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps, water, food, mess, and clothing. Learn a new skill and start planning your garden, except for you guys down there in Florida. Start planning your harvest, because I know you guys are growing right now.
And learn how to dig a deeper foundation with lots of concrete.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Take care.
Have a good night.